There comes a moment in every chosen one's life, a precise second in the divine timeline, when heaven leans in close and whispers, "Now." That moment is here for you. You may not have felt ready, you may not have even seen it coming, but God has. He has watched in silence as you endured. He has counted every tear you cried in the dark. And now, He is getting ready to reward you in front of the very people who counted you out. You see, this isn't just a feel-good message. This is a prophetic declaration, one that your soul has been waiting for, aching for, because deep down, you always knew, sure, you were different. From the beginning, the way people looked at you felt strange. The way they treated you, distant, judgmental, cold, never made sense. You walked into rooms and felt eyes, felt energy, felt resistance, not because of what you did, but because of who you are. The oil on your life made others uncomfortable, even when you didn't understand what was happening. But let me be very clear, you were never rejected. You were protected, set apart, hidden in plain sight. While others rushed ahead, flaunting what they thought was success, you were being refined in secret. You were being broken to be blessed. And while the world mocked your delay, heaven was preparing your display. God has seen your struggles, not just the surface ones, but the kind no one else knew about. The nights you cried out, wondering why your prayers seemed to go unanswered. The days you showed up, smiled, and poured into others while you were running on empty. The betrayals that cut deep, the loneliness that felt endless. The moments you questioned your own worth, your own purpose. He saw it all, and He didn't ignore it. He recorded it. Heaven keeps receipts, and yours are stamped with fire. You were forged in warfare, not comfort. While others lived in ease, you were walking through storms that should have broken you, but they didn't. You didn't just survive. You emerged stronger, more aware, more discerning. You've seen the true face of people who once called you friend. You've learned that not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. You've learned to trust silence, to hear God more clearly when the noise of the crowd fades away. And now comes the shift. There is a divine reversal on the horizon, one that cannot be stopped, delayed, or denied. Your name is being whispered in rooms you haven't entered yet. Doors are unlocking, resources are aligning, people are being assigned to elevate you, not because you asked, but because you endured, because you stayed faithful when it was hardest, because you didn't fold when everything in you wanted to quit. They thought you were finished. They thought the delay meant denial. But what they didn't know is that you were in a divine setup. And now, just like Joseph, you're about to go from the pit to the palace, from overlooked to overfavored, from attacked to anointed in full view. You didn't go through all of that for nothing. There is eternal wealth assigned to your name, not just material riches, but spiritual abundance, generational freedom, peace that passes understanding, and doors that cannot be shut. God is not just restoring what you lost. He's multiplying it. He's not just answering your prayers, He's going beyond them. But hear this, you didn't qualify by striving. You qualified by surrendering. That's what makes you the chosen one, not because you were the loudest, not because you were the most talented, but because you were obedient. You stayed in alignment when it didn't make sense. You obeyed God when it hurt. You sacrificed when no one saw. You gave when you had nothing left but faith. And heaven remembers that. This is why the shaking happened, why things had to fall apart, because God was clearing the stage. The characters that no longer fit your story had to exit. The environments that once nurtured you had to change. You were being repositioned for elevation, and that meant shedding anything attached to your old identity. You're not who you used to be. You've outgrown the shell they tried to trap you in. And now, God is about to introduce the real you. The you they dismissed? Just a shadow. The real version of you, the healed, whole, elevated version, is stepping forward, and the shift will be undeniable. Even your enemies will have no choice but to admit, this had to be God. But I want to speak to that part of you that still feels unsure, that still wonders if maybe this message is for someone else. It's not. This is your confirmation. This is the echo of heaven aligning with your spirit, reminding you you were never forgotten. Every closed door, every delayed promise, every unanswered prayer, it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It was divine timing at work. Because what God is about to do in your life requires maturity. It requires wisdom. It requires a level of spiritual depth that can only be birthed in pain. That's why you had to go through the fire, because your blessing has weight. Eternal wealth is not for the faint of heart. It requires a foundation that cannot be shaken. And now, because you let God build that foundation in secret, He is about to reward you in public. So breathe, chosen one. Let go of the fear. Release the bitterness. Lay down the need to prove yourself. The battle is no longer yours. God has taken over. And what's coming next will make every tear worth it. Every betrayal, every lonely night, every season of lack. It's all turning now. The tables are shifting. The crown is descending. You're not watching others rise anymore. Now it's your turn. Not to flex, not to boast, but to fulfill. You were born for this moment. Your spirit has always known it. And even now, something within you is rising to meet it. It's not just motivation, it's revelation. Your soul recognizes this truth because it was written in your destiny before time began. Heaven has remembered you, and the gates of divine abundance are opening. The truth is, you were never just living, you were surviving a spiritual war. From the moment you were born, the enemy knew there was something different about you. You weren't just another soul passing through. You were marked, anointed, chosen, and because of that, the attacks began early. The battles came disguised as people, circumstances, betrayals. Even your own thoughts turned against you at times, not because you were weak, but because your light was too bright to ignore. The darkness recognized you even before you recognized yourself. You didn't grow up like everyone else. You felt emotions deeper. You saw through lies even when no one else noticed. You carried burdens that weren't yours because your spirit was wired to intercede. And because of that, life wasn't easy. You were often misunderstood, isolated, left out, underestimated. But God allowed it, because the furnace you endured was shaping your spiritual muscles. The pressure you lived under was producing divine power, and now that power is about to be revealed. Let me tell you something sacred. God never wastes a battle. He doesn't allow pain without a plan. What looked like chaos in your past was actually coded instruction. Heaven was training you, teaching you how to pray when no one else would, showing you how to fight without becoming bitter. You were being built in silence so that when the storm came, you would not fall like others did. You've faced betrayal from those you loved the most. You've tasted the bitterness of being left behind, not because you weren't worthy, but because their spirit couldn't stand yours. Your presence triggered them. Your purpose irritated their demons. And so, they left. They lied. They tried to break you, but it didn't work. You may have cried, but you didn't collapse. You may have paused, but you didn't perish. And now, heaven is roaring with your name. You made it through what was sent to destroy you. You passed the test of silence, those long seasons where God seemed far, yet you stayed close, where no one encouraged you, yet you kept showing up, where every door closed, yet you kept knocking. That kind of faith shakes realms. That kind of obedience moves the hand of God. Right now, the spiritual realm is shifting. Angels are being dispatched. Chains are breaking. The ones who plotted against you are feeling the heat. They're watching what they once laughed at now become exalted. The same mouths that gossiped about you will have to speak your promotion, because heaven is not just lifting you, it is announcing you. You see, there comes a time when hidden favor becomes public fire, when private pain becomes public elevation, and that time is now. You didn't climb your way to the top by scheming. You were raised by surrender. You didn't manipulate your way into rooms. You were called by name, and when God opens a door, no man can shut it. Your adversaries feel it. They may not say it, but they know. That strange silence from people who once hovered around you, it's not coincidence. They sense the oil on your life now. They see the aura of protection around you. Your spirit no longer matches the old version of you they once handled so carelessly. You've outgrown their projections. You've evolved spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You are no longer available for their confusion. The crown that fits you now was too heavy before. You had to grow into it. And while you were growing, they were mocking. But they didn't know what God was growing in the dark. You were being rooted. And now your branches are reaching. The fruit of your endurance is beginning to show. You're not the same, you're not weak, you're not unsure. You've been activated. The enemy tried to confuse you, tried to wear you down with delay, with disappointment, with depression, but none of it worked because your spirit was already claimed by something eternal. And that eternal fire is burning brighter now. You've learned to discern beyond words. You've learned to pray with authority. You've learned to walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere simply by existing. That's what being chosen feels like. But I need you to understand this. It's not just about personal success. Your wealth will be eternal because it's attached to assignment. You're not being elevated just for you. You're being blessed to bless. You're being positioned to pour. You are becoming the answer to someone else's prayer. Your rise is not vanity, it's victory. The kind of victory that liberates others just by witnessing it. Because when the chosen rise, the system shakes. You've learned the power of hiddenness, the strength of solitude, the wisdom of waiting, and now you will learn the joy of overflow. Divine wealth is coming, and it's not just money. It's favor, it's influence, it's supernatural insight, it's spiritual authority, it's the power to heal rooms without speaking, it's the peace to sleep through storms, it's the clarity to walk away from what no longer serves your future. You've been conditioned to think you had to beg, to prove, to hustle for crumbs, but you're about to feast in front of those who once starved you, not as revenge, but as revelation. So they know God does not forget his own. So they know his hand is real. So they know grace carries weight. This is the season where God reminds the world of who you really are. Chosen, covered, called, crowned. You never had to fight for validation. It was always in you. But now heaven is announcing what has been concealed. You're not just stepping into wealth, you're stepping into eternal wealth. The kind that outlives seasons, the kind that shifts bloodlines, the kind that builds legacies. You're no longer praying for temporary breakthroughs. You're walking in permanent transformation. You didn't just survive your story, you became the storm. And now nothing can stop what God has already set in motion. You're walking into rooms you once only dreamed of. You're speaking with clarity you never thought possible. You're moving in peace, no longer reactive to petty battles. You're above it now, not in pride, but in purpose, because what you carry is sacred, and you're not carrying it alone. Heaven walks with you, angels encamp around you. The fire within you was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal you. So stand tall. The weight you feel isn't burden, it's glory, and it's about to be seen. The gates of divine overflow are creaking open. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are the chosen one, and the shift has already begun. There's something sacred about divine justice. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shout, it waits, it observes, and then it moves like thunder wrapped in light. Quiet at first, then undeniable. That's what's about to happen in your life. The justice of God isn't coming to embarrass your enemies. It's coming to vindicate your spirit, because he saw what they did. The manipulation, the gossip, the rejection masked as kindness, the sabotage dressed in silence. He saw the nights you walked away from conversations with your spirit shattered but your face smiling. He saw when they smiled at your downfall. He heard the words they whispered behind closed doors. They thought you had no one fighting for you, but they forgot. The battle was never yours. God took notes in the silence. And now, he's about to make an announcement. This is the season where justice becomes visible. The reversal is coming, not in secret, but in the open. And not just any reversal. A divine turnaround so undeniable that even those who don't believe in God will have to say that had to be him. You've been hidden long enough. You've suffered long enough. You've questioned your worth for far too long. But what you didn't see was that heaven had been holding back a wave of favor, waiting for the exact second your enemies stopped watching, so that when it crashes, they'll know it wasn't luck. It was purpose. You're not just being elevated, you're being exonerated. Because God doesn't just restore, he reveals, he redeems, he makes crooked places straight and broken hearts whole. And he's about to do that for you. You've cried, you've fasted, you've gone through your silent seasons with grace. You held your tongue, you kept showing up, and now your reward is not just breakthrough, it's glory, it's peace, it's stability that no one can take. Let this sink in. God has not just seen your battles, he has felt them. That's how deeply connected he is to you. When they wounded you, heaven flinched. When they mocked you, angels wept. When they tried to shut you down, heaven stood still and watched you choose obedience over retaliation. And now, God is saying, enough. Not because he's just starting to act, but because this moment was written in the story from the beginning. This is the part of the script where the tables turn. It's your Esther moment, where the same gallows built for your destruction will be the stage for your deliverance. It's your Joseph hour, where the pit becomes the passageway to the palace. This isn't just poetic language. This is a supernatural forecast. You are not about to rise, you are rising. Every delay has been overturned. Every hindrance has lost its grip. Every lie spoken against you is about to lose its voice. But more than that, you're being healed. This is what makes the wealth eternal. Not just the overflow, but the restoration of your inner world. The healing of the places no one knew were broken. The mending of the memories that still try to whisper doubt into your spirit. You've walked around with old wounds disguised as strength. But now God is touching those places with gentle fire, the kind of fire that purifies without consuming. You're not being promoted with pain still bleeding. You're being promoted with peace. Because the version of you that's stepping into abundance isn't the wounded warrior, it's the healed one. The one who knows how to receive without guilt. The one who doesn't second-guess blessings. The one who isn't afraid to outgrow environments or outpace people. The one who's no longer apologizing for favor. That version is here now. And here's the truth. This isn't the beginning of something new. It's the unveiling of what always was. You were always this powerful. You were always this wise. You were always this anointed. Life just tried to bury it under pain, under fear, under conditioning. But now the divine light in you is rising like the morning sun, steady, silent, unstoppable. What once intimidated you no longer has access. What once broke you now builds you. What once confused you now clarifies your calling. That's how you know the season has changed. And God is not just calling you forward. He's pulling you forward with grace that breaks cycles, with favor that silences critics, with provision that feels unreal. You will look around and not recognize your life, not because you changed it, but because you finally allowed it. You finally stopped fighting your own greatness. You finally stopped doubting your worth. You finally agreed with heaven. And in that agreement, your authority is multiplying. You're not asking anymore. You're commanding. You're not wishing. You're walking. You're not performing. You're embodying. You're standing in alignment with the truth of your soul. And that alignment is producing acceleration. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right on divine time, and that's why everything is clicking now. Listen closely. The enemy never attacked you for where you were. He attacked you for where you were going. Your battles were always prophetic. That relationship that failed, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That job that ended, it wasn't a loss, it was a launch. Every storm, every ending, every heartbreak was heaven's secret way of protecting your momentum. Now the wind is shifting behind you, and you're about to move faster in 1 year than you did in the last 10. This isn't hype. This is alignment. There's a divine hush that precedes a flood. That's what you've been feeling, the quiet before the breakthrough, the stillness before the avalanche of abundance. You're not crazy for feeling it. Your spirit has been picking up on something your mind hasn't fully grasped yet. That's the whisper of destiny saying, brace yourself. It's finally here. So what do you do now? You trust it. You don't sabotage it with overthinking. You don't delay it by doubting. You don't shrink it by dimming your light for others' comfort. You walk in it unapologetically. You claim what is yours without fear, without shame, without explanation, because this is your divine inheritance. You don't have to earn it. It's already written. You are the chosen one. And the world is about to see what God saw all along. This is your time. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why was I attacked so much? Why was my name dragged, my heart broken, my peace disturbed? Why did it seem like life came at me harder than others? Let me speak to that unspoken question, the one your soul has whispered for years. The reason you were attacked wasn't because you were weak. It was because you were chosen. And being chosen means being different. It means carrying light that others don't understand. It means walking with divine favor that the enemy sees before you do. You were attacked not for your flaws, but for your purpose. And the more powerful your calling, the more ruthless the resistance. But here's the paradox. The very things that were meant to break you became the exact instruments that built you. The betrayals sharpened your discernment. The rejections taught you detachment. The heartbreaks awakened your self-worth. And the delays taught you divine timing. This is what people never saw. They thought you were losing. They thought you were stuck. But you were being developed. God was hiding you in what looked like hardship. He was concealing you while pruning your spirit. Because premature exposure can destroy purpose. And God loved you too much to let the wrong people crown you. That's the law of divine contradiction. What looks like a setback is often the greatest setup. What feels like abandonment is actually elevation in disguise. You weren't being pushed away. You were being pulled aside for refinement. That's why people walked away. That's why doors shut. That's why you didn't fit in. You were never meant to blend. You were designed to stand apart. And the psychology behind others' behavior? It wasn't always hate. Sometimes it was confusion. Your presence carried a frequency that their spirit couldn't process. Your calm made their chaos uncomfortable. Your integrity disrupted their dysfunction. And so, they projected. They misunderstood you. They fought against what they couldn't name. But it's not your job to be understood. It's your assignment to be aligned. And now, you're coming into alignment with your soul's mission. This life was never about blending in. From the moment you were conceived, heaven marked you with an assignment. A call to rise, a call to build, a call to shine even when it cost you everything. And you answered that call even when you didn't realize you had. Every time you refused to quit, every time you chose integrity, every time you loved despite the hurt, you were saying yes to the divine plan. And now your yes is producing wealth, not just the kind that fills your bank account, but the kind that fills your spirit. Peace that isn't attached to circumstances, clarity that doesn't need external validation, confidence that isn't born of ego, but of divine identity. This is eternal wealth, the kind that ripples through generations, the kind that rewrites your bloodline, the kind that breaks curses you didn't even know were there. You weren't just fighting for yourself. You were fighting for everyone connected to you. Your healing will become their healing. Your breakthrough will become their example. Your rise will unlock their permission. And that's why it was so hard, because the weight of what you carry is generational. You weren't just breaking cycles, you were birthing new ones. You weren't just surviving, you were pioneering. And pioneers walk alone, misunderstood, misjudged. but they also walk ahead. You are ahead now. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, you've outgrown the old patterns. The way you used to react, the way you used to seek approval, the way you used to chase validation, it no longer fits. And it's not because you're cold, it's because you're clear. Clear on who you are, clear on who you're not, clear on where you're going. And that clarity is dangerous to anyone who benefited from your confusion. But let them be uncomfortable. You've coddled dysfunction long enough. You've dimmed your light out of empathy, sacrificed your peace to make others feel safe. But no more. You're stepping into full embodiment now, not just purpose, but power, not just favor, but authority, the kind that comes from knowing you were chosen not to survive, but to lead. And leadership in the spirit is not loud, it's not boastful, it's still, it's unwavering, it's rooted. You don't need to explain anymore. You don't need to prove. You don't need to argue your value with people committed to misunderstanding you. Your fruit will speak for itself. Your glow will preach louder than your words. Your peace will expose every false alliance. This is why you had to be isolated. God had to pull you away from noise, from confusion, from false affirmation, so he could tune your ear to his voice. You learned to listen in stillness, to discern in silence, to trust what you felt, even when it contradicted what others said. And now that divine connection is unshakable. Your ear is tuned to heaven. Your heart is synced with truth, and your life is aligned with destiny. From this point forward, you no longer chase. You attract. You no longer beg. You receive. You no longer doubt. You declare because the veil is off. The illusion is broken. The clarity is here. And with it comes the wealth, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial. Wealth that is rooted in divine law, not man-made systems. Wealth that no one can steal or explain. Wealth that cannot be reversed because it was never man's to give, it was heaven's to release. You are the vessel, and the vessel has been purified. Now comes the overflow. You're not the same person they once knew, and thank God for that. You're bolder now, wiser, softer in the right places, stronger in others. Your energy is sacred, your presence is prophetic, your mind is guarded, and your spirit is free. This is what eternal wealth feels like. It's not just about what you have, it's about who you've become. And who you've become is unstoppable. Take a breath. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to remember. Remember the fire you walked through. Remember the nights that felt endless, the moments when silence was your only companion and doubt clung to you like fog. Remember when you questioned everything, including your own worth. And now open your eyes because you made it. You survived what others didn't even know was killing you inside. You smiled through the storm. You stood when it would have been easier to lie down. And even when your hands were trembling, you kept reaching for God. You kept walking forward, even when every door slammed shut, even when your prayers echoed back with no reply. That, beloved, is the mark of the chosen one. It's not perfection, it's perseverance. It's that deep, silent knowing inside you that no matter how many times you were knocked down, you were born to rise. That even if your voice cracked, you would still speak truth. Even if your heart broke, you would still choose love. Even if you lost everything, you would never lose faith. You see, you didn't just survive for survival's sake. You survived because there was more to do, more to build, more to release. There are people waiting for what's inside of you. There are doors waiting for your footsteps. There are divine assignments hanging in the balance, assignments only you can fulfill. And now, you are ready. This is not a future promise, it is a present reality. The spiritual realm has already shifted in your favor. The alignment has already occurred, Shah. Your name is already known in places you have yet to walk. The wealth has already been released. It's simply catching up to your now, and you, chosen one, are walking into it with the grace of someone who has seen too much to be shaken. This is what divine timing feels like. It's not rushed. It's not chaotic. It's certain. Your blessings are not coming from striving. They're flowing from surrender. You no longer have to push, pull, plead. You simply have to receive. And you can do so boldly, without guilt. Because your inheritance was never about deserving, it was about destiny. It was written, and now it unfolds. Your peace is returning. Your mind is sharper. Your spirit is lighter. You no longer carry what God has already released. You've handed over the bitterness, the old labels, the weight of other people's opinions. And in return, you've been handed the keys to a new dimension, one where the ceiling has been removed and the only limit is how much you're willing to believe. So believe boldly. Believe that it's your time. Believe that you are not too late. Believe that you are not too broken. Believe that what's coming has your name on it and no one can take it. You've stepped out of survival. You've stepped into sovereignty. Your soul knows who it is now, and that clarity is a weapon. You'll no longer be shaken by the noise. You'll no longer bend under pressure. You'll no longer make yourself small for others' comfort. You've seen what happens when you trust God fully. Now watch what happens when you trust yourself. This is your moment. Don't rush it. Don't doubt it. Don't sabotage it. Let it unfold with the elegance of divine design. Let the wealth find you, because it will. Let the doors swing open, because they must. Let your name be spoken in rooms you've never entered, because heaven has already gone ahead of you. You are walking in divine justice. You are embodying spiritual royalty. You are breathing in eternal wealth. And no force, no lie, no delay can stop what's already begun. So from here forward, walk differently, speak differently, move as one who carries God's hand on their life. You're not just one in a crowd. You are the one called out of the crowd, the one raised up in the midst of confusion, the one preserved through storms so that you could rise with clarity. No more questioning, no more playing small, no more waiting for permission. You are the permission. You are the message. You are the miracle they never saw coming. So go where God sends you. Speak what He puts on your heart. Build what He whispers in your dreams. Share the oil that was pressed from your pain, because your legacy begins now, not tomorrow, not next year, now. And let your presence be a prophecy. Let your joy be proof that sorrow did not win. Let your peace be proof that warfare ends in victory. Let your abundance be proof that God remembers His own, because He does. And you are one of them, the chosen, the protected, the transformed. Walk in that, and may everything that touches your hands multiply in grace, overflow in abundance, and echo into eternity. Until we speak again, walk boldly, live freely, and never forget, heaven has seen your struggles. Now comes eternal wealth.